Hey kids, welcome back to the season finale, the ultimate episode of Old Man Plays CFL Fantasy for 2024. Unfortunately, I did not win the CFL Podcasters Fantasy Football League last week. Adam took me out 122.5 to 110.8. So basically, we were very close to the same teams. We had two different low cost players and different flexes, and then the flex is what killed me. He had Diedrich Mills, who had a great game. I went with Rankin, who didn't go so great. So congratulations to Adam Stewart, the league commissioner and one of the hosts on Canadian Football Countdown. So great job there, Adam. It was a lot of fun. Thank you to all the podcasters that got involved. It was a great year. I enjoyed it, and hey, had a Cinderella run at the end there, but always a bridesmaid, never a bride. So anyway, there's not really much for me to play for this weekend other than just total points for the season. Depending on where you're at, you may be in a league that plays total points. So it might still be a worthwhile weekend. Now, thinking about that, drop a comment here or out on Bluesky where I'm Oldman-SAC. Let us know if maybe you'd be interested in having us set up a league for our fans next year. If we get enough responses, maybe that we'll consider doing that, run a league, probably see what we get. Maybe just like a total points kind of league and stuff, and get some kind of prize for the people at the end. We'll see. For those that are playing for total point leagues and stuff like that where it matters still, this is a really tough weekend to do because you don't know who's going to be playing anywhere. Maybe the Friday night games give you a little bit of clarity. Hamilton has to win to get lock up first place in the East. So maybe some of their players, but if they get a big lead on Ottawa, will they pull the starters and try and keep them from getting injured? And then the other Friday night game is Calgary and Edmonton. Edmonton plays tough, so Calgary will probably have to run their starters all the way through. But it's kind of hard to pick Calgary starters because they spread it around. You don't know who's going to get the ball. Now, with that said, Philpott is out, and they're starting Alford. So he might be a good low-price pick, and maybe he gets some good throws of the full game rather than playing as a backup. So, there's that. Will Edmonton play Cody? I hope so. Yeah, I mean, they show him as starting, but how long will he be in for? And, that's the problem with all of these things. Is it going to... they've got no reason not to play him the whole game. I guess they're out of the playoffs. So maybe that's a good choice. Maybe going with Cody. Gittins Jr. is out for them, but other than that, they're playing pretty close to their full complement. So there's a chance. But then you get into the Saturday games, and we just don't know. If Hamilton wins on Friday night, Montreal's got nothing to play for on Saturday. They've got second place anyway. Winnipeg has already said that they're going to sit 9 of their starters, the majority on defense. So they've obviously decided going the East route is the way to go, and that they can't improve themselves by trying to get things better higher in the West. So maybe Montreal will have, but will they be playing backups? How much does it matter to them? And then the same thing the next game. BC will have nothing to play for if Calgary and Winnipeg happen to lose. So they could have all backups in. If Calgary wins, then they need to win that game, and they could be all starters. It's just so hard to tell. I don't know. It's a tough time of the season. And if we're going to look at that, maybe we have to look at, some of who the backups may be that get in there and look at stuff. So we'll have to figure this out. I'm going to pick them on the old computer here, and we'll put together our really tough to do team for the final weekend, the ultimate weekend of the CFL Fantasy. Alrighty, and here we go. So, a couple of things right off the top. I should have said earlier in the show. Apologize to any of the podcast listeners. Apparently, I didn't drop this on the podcast last week, just on YouTube. So, sorry if you missed me there. I am back for this, which will be the ultimate show of the season, the season ender for Oldman Plays CFL Fantasy for 2025. Okay, now looking at this, first of all, I don't know about any of you. First time I opened this up, it gave me like 3 selections on each position. So I had to shut down the computer and clear the cache and everything, and now it's back working. So here we go. So I said there's basically 3 quarterbacks that look like they may be in for the full game depending on circumstances. Hamilton tonight has to win to keep first place. So Bo will be in for a good chunk of it, depending on how much of a lead they get, maybe the whole thing. Calgary, if Calgary wins, they still have a shot at second place if Calgary wins and BC loses. So Calgary will be going all out. So VA will be in there. And Philpott is out with, as I said earlier, with an injury. But other than that, they're running the whole team. So there's a good choice. And then the last one is BC, which we just don't know. They could be having to win to get first or second place in a home playoff game if Calgary wins. But if Calgary and Winnipeg both lose, then BC's already in, so we may not even see Nathan. So it's a hard, like I said, this is a hard weekend to pick. So I think I'm going to load up with Hamilton, to tell you the truth, and that would mean I go for Bo Levi Mitchell, who apparently has less projected points than Dustin Crum, who's not playing. Anyway, so there's Bo. Let's team him up with Kenny Lawler, and I also wanted Keandre Smith on there because I think he's going to be cheap, and hopefully he does get some yardage this time. So where is he? He's at $5,000. Yes, that is cheap. So we'll definitely take that. Okay. Then now moving on, running backs. Well, I think if I'm going to go for one who's kind of high priced, look at this. He's less than Butler even, but Mills I think has a better chance. Even with the backups in Regina, I don't like running against that defense. And the other running back, let's go for cheapo here, see what we can do first of all. So let's go for a price of $2,000 to $4,000 because there's going to be some backups that'll be starting and things like that. Now, Horvath won't be starting, but he's a good chance. Peterson with Winnipeg, he ran well early in the season. Mind you, that Montreal defense can be susceptible to the run too. Thomas Bertrand Hudon, I'm willing to bet he gets 3/4 of the game in Saskatchewan, so I'm going to go with him. Then that gives me the defenses to pick $17,000, so I can spend a fair amount on a defense and still get the players that I want. First of all, let's see if I take Ottawa defense. How much does that actually leave me to spend on another player? $14,500, so it doesn't get me up to the 15 anyway. So what about if we take Hamilton defense, because they've been picking off people more lately. So let's go with the Hamilton defense. Yeah. See where that leaves us $13,200 for our flex. Let's go by price. So now we can immediately go down here to when we get below $13,200, which is, Tim White is $13,400. And I don't really want to go that way. Hardy is $12,800. He may have a good game. They're going to try and get him his 100 yards or 1,000 yards. Philpott hasn't been playing so much lately. Lewis, I'm a little bit iffy on. Rhymes is a definite possibility, I suppose. I don't know that Schaefer Baker will be playing a lot. What the heck? Let's go with Rhymes here. That still leaves us $2,500, but you know what? It's the end of the season. It doesn't matter that much. I'm going to take a flyer. So let's go to Calgary here, even if this leaves me super cheap on other people. There we go. 4. So that leaves me $8,200. Okay, so let's see then if I take Keandre out of there and I go back to Hamilton here and I put Tim White in. Will I have enough for Tim White? $13,400. Yes, I do. So that's what we're doing. We're going So there we are. We'll put Bo down as the captain, and after a bunch of to-ing and fro-ing and back and forth, we finally have a team here. Very Hamilton heavy team. Hamilton Tiger Cat defense. Bo Levi Mitchell at quarterback for Hamilton. Running backs will be Diedrich Mills out of Calgary and Thomas Bertrand Houdon out of Saskatchewan. The receivers will be Kenny Lawler and Tim White, both out of Edmonton. And the flex will be Damien Elford out of Calgary. So that's it, locked in. Okay, well, that's them. There's my picks. As usual, come with the caveat, use them at your peril. It's been a great year. This will be the last show. I won't bother coming back next week because there's nothing to pick. So you'll have to check out the CFL Outsiders. It drops usually, well, and should next week, Wednesday, 4 p.m. Pacific time. And you'll hear about how my final week meant, if it matters at all to you. Like that. Please subscribe. Please leave comments, reviews, rates, all those things. I hope you've had a great year of fantasy. I hope you'll come back next year and work through this with me again. And maybe, like I said, we'll see if we can have some fun with a league, or there's some other ideas that we're kicking around in the background that maybe that could be some fun too. But that's it. So for this year, until next year, Old Man signing off.